Well, happy Friday, Pressbox Overtime. It's Bill Maharis again with another episode of Great People Doing Great Things. Hopefully, you got to watch my interview last week with Lucy Maris, cheerleader and wrestler from Satellite High School, who finished third in the state. So kudos to her. And we're always looking for individuals that maybe you might not read or hear about anywhere else but here. Young men and women that are excelling both on the field, on the court, in the gym, and in the classroom. And we have another one of those episodes today from a young man that his athletic director was nice enough to introduce me to him. And again, it's just another example of the great individuals that we have, student athletes here in Brevard County. So without further ado, here's a young man that plays soccer, swims, excels in the classroom, a little bit of music too, Mr. Lance Stern from West Shore Junior Senior High School. Lance, how you doing today?
Doing good. How are you doing, Mr. Maharis?
You know what? I'm doing good. It's Friday. It was early release day. We're in Florida at 74 degrees. You know, I'm retired. I mean, life is pretty good.
Yeah, that's the good life. That's living the life.
So I appreciate you joining me. So you're a junior at West Shore.
Yes.
And before we get started, you know, I know you play a couple of different sports. One of the sports you play is soccer. How long have you been playing soccer?
I've been playing soccer since 4th grade.
Okay. All right. And what position do you play on the field?
I primarily play goalie, but I have also played striker in the past. So two completely opposites, but I've played both.
So you kind of know what it's like on both sides of that line, I guess, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I know
good.
what it's like to stop it from going across the line and from trying to get it across the line.
So I have to ask you, with that in mind, have you ever participated in penalty kicks?
I have never taken penalty kicks, which I am appreciative that I haven't had to do that. I've faced them plenty of times as a goalie, but I'm appreciative I've never have to take one. So,
and I guess as a goalie, it's what, 50-50?
Yeah, as a goalie, you just pick a side and go with it, and if you get lucky, you get lucky.
Yeah. I know that I can't imagine the pressure. I watch a lot of my daughter played soccer, so I watch it on TV a lot and have been to some of the games. And yeah, you know, it's like shooting a technical free throw. There's nobody around you. You're by yourself. So I can imagine. And also, we were going to come on live a little bit earlier today, but unfortunately, you had an appointment this afternoon. So walk us through. You had a little mishap on the soccer field.
Yeah, so about two months ago now, it was January 14th. I was playing a soccer game at Merritt Island High School, and I came out to slide for a ball out of the goal and kick it out of bounds, and I just got the tackle wrong, and my leg got caught underneath me on the turf, and it just tore my ACL. So I had physical therapy earlier this afternoon, but I'm making very good progress. So
Awesome. And I think you got rid of some hardware too.
yes, got rid of the brace. The brace was a little in the way, but I'm glad to have gotten rid of that.
You know, and you and I talked the other day when we had our first chat, and I think I mentioned to you my daughter also tore her ACL, and I think the same thing as you. Nobody made any contact. It was just basically the way you moved and did it all on your own, so to speak.
Yes, yeah. I mean, my doctor said that's the classic ACL. He said those usually occur non-contact.
Wow.
Just the classic twist and pop motion.
Jeez.
So.
And of course, we're getting ready to get into summer. By the time fall starts, and we'll talk about swimming in a second, you should be hopefully 100% or kind of close.
Yes. Yeah. My recovery time is 6 months. So since I injured it since I got the surgery done in February, it should be close to the start of swim season in August. That's
awesome.
Exactly 6 months. So.
All right, good. Not that you're marking the calendar or anything.
No.
And we were talking before you came on. Your principal, Mr. Fleming's a good friend of mine. I follow him on Facebook. And it sounds like you got the brace off at a good time because you had I want to give a shout out to West Shore Junior Senior High School. You had some activity today for juniors and seniors.
Yes, we had this event called Wildcat Challenge. It's it's basically a big field day style event, but it's a nice break for West Shore students from the academics daily in the classroom. It's a nice break for us to get to go outside and just have fun for a day, take a
Good.
break before we get into the big testing season.
Right. And today was probably a good day. I was subbing at Rockledge High School today, and I think district wide, or at least most of us, didn't have internet service. So I guess it was probably a good time to be outside.
Yes, that was probably a good time. I didn't even know that because I was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
online at all at school today.
I was telling somebody else, who knows what we did growing up when we didn't even have technology, and somehow we made it through. So I'm glad to hear that y'all had a great day. It was beautiful weather. So let's get into swimming. So in talking with you today, I tried to write all this down, but young people like you that swim are in so many different events. So tell us a little bit, and for those that are watching or will watch later that aren't aware, West Shore being a junior, senior high school, you have that opportunity to start playing varsity sports in seventh grade,
Yes.
which gives you an extra couple years. So walk me through how long you've been swimming. How did you decide which events as you grew older that you really wanted to participate in?
So I started at West Shore. I started in the 100 butterfly, but as time developed, I just got stronger by participating on relay teams in the sprint freestyle events. So by developing in those sprint freestyle events on the relay, I realized that my strongest suit would be to switch from the 100 fly individually into the sprint freestyle events, which are the 50 and the 100, because I felt I'd have a better chance at progressing farther in the state series by doing that.
Very good. And I think you, again, for some of the viewers that might not be real familiar with swimming, you're in one of those relays. Is it the medley where you each do like a different stroke?
Yes, yes, I'm in the medley relay. I have swam butterfly.
Okay, all right. And then so butterfly and freestyle are your two main ones that you swim.
Yes, they have been my two main ones for a long time.
Good.
But in recent times, free has switched more to my primary than in the past. So,
Good, good. And one thing we talked about, and I know this happens a lot with swimmers, and it happens a lot with individuals that do track. You get to some of these district meets, regional meets, like I know you participated in, and sometimes you're almost sprinting from one event to the other. You maybe have a little bit of time to breathe. Has that happened to you before?
yes, that has happened to me before. I've actually at one of the meets been in the 100 fly and the 100 free, which in the order of events for high school swimming, those two are back to back, the fly first and then the 100 free.
Yeah.
So my only break in between was one or two heats of girls. So
And I think we talked, you were hoping that the person that finishes first would get a good score and the rest of them maybe a little bit slower just to give
yeah,
you a chance
give
to.
me a little bit more of a break to just regain my stamina before I start that next race, especially after fly, because fly exerts a ton of energy. So
And of course you're I won't say how much younger you are than me, but you're a lot younger than me. So you got a little bit more stamina than I do now. Um, do you, when you're in some of these meets, do you run across other individuals? And I'm sure over the years you see the same people. And I grew up in Cocoa, and of course Cocoa Rockledge was our big rivalry. And then when you got to know those kids, you're like, they're not really that bad. You probably run across some of the same students that in the same predicament as you, maybe swim some of those same events, and they're scrambling to go back and forth too.
yes, I in the past I have definitely seen that. I mean, I do club swimming outside of high school for a club called Rockets. And so I have friends through that program that I know from other public high schools, and I've seen some of them in the same boat as well. So
Right, right. And I guess same thing in soccer. If you do club soccer, my daughter did that, and then all of a sudden you're together for one season, and then you're competing against each other when you get to high school.
yes, yeah. I mean, high school's always definitely a fun time to see, to be able to race your friends because throughout the year you're on the same team as
Uh,
them, and so by the time you get to those high school meets, you get to race against them, which is pretty fun.
Right. So a little friendly banter back and forth. I'm a little bragging rights, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, a little bragging rights within the team. That's probably about it.
Well, good. Well, that's good to hear. So we play soccer. We're involved in swimming, rehabbing from the injury. I'm glad to hear that you got your brace off, and you're involved in a little bit of the music program at West Shore as well. What's that all about?
Okay, so at West Shore, I am in our chamber orchestra, which is the top level orchestra. We I play the violin in the orchestra. I am second chair, first violin, so I sit next to the concert master.
Okay.
We're stand partners together, and our orchestra just did a great job at a competition called Music Performance Assessments. We just got straight superiors at that, so we were
Awesome.
very happy with our performance there.
Well, awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, so chamber, so that would be, I'm going to say like the upper echelon. Is it a smaller group than what the regular orchestra class is, or still kind of the same number?
So yes, chamber is the top level orchestra at West Shore. We are actually the biggest orchestra though out of all
Oh,
of them, which is surprising, but that's because we have a lot of talented
mhm.
music students that are in that upper level class at West Shore. So
Excellent, excellent. And we were talking earlier. I saw that it was on the Brevard Public Schools website. So even though I spent a lot of time on my press box overtime with athletics, et cetera, and when I worked at the district, I also covered some activities. So anytime I have a chance, I mean, I could probably have my own Facebook group on just all the activities that you all are involved in. But let's give a shout out to Oak Alley High School. They did something pretty phenomenal.
yes, they just went to a performance called ASTA in Atlanta. Um, and they just won that. It's a national competition, which is absolutely great. Shout out to Mr. Eric Bryan. He is the orchestra teacher at O'Galley, and he does a great job. I love Mr. Bryan, and he does a great job with that program.
That's awesome. I saw that and I just thought that was phenomenal. I know the article said something about national champions. I wrote down when I read it, they got the grand champion award. And also shout out to Melbourne High School and Satellite High School as they got to perform at that conference, which I think is a big thing, just kind of like marching bands going into the Rose Bowl or something like that. So I'm happy for those three schools. Glad you got your shout out to that young gentleman. And I'm sure that was a nice a flight home after bringing home that trophy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they had a great time home.
So let's talk about. So we got the sports, we got the music. Any clubs or activities that you're also involved in when you
Uh,
have spare time?
Yes. So in my spare time, which is pretty limited, but I am a member of the National Honors Society as well as the Spanish National Honors Society. Those are the two major clubs that I'm involved with at West Shore. And
Good.
also during what we call power hour, which is our lunch hour where we can go get tutoring from teachers. I actually help my former math teacher, Miss Orton, tutor for her Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 students.
Awesome. Very good. And I've learned the years that I taught, and I was an administrator, and we did the same thing. We were blessed. Delora Middle School is right next to Satellite, and we worked out a program where some of their kids would come over in the morning. And sometimes kids, I don't mean to say kids, but young people learn better from young people sometimes than they do from us. So I think that's a positive, not only that you're helping, it probably goes a little bit better sometimes than if Mr. Maharis was in there.
Yes, I agree. I mean, sometimes with teachers do a great job, but
Oh,
sometimes the way the teacher does it, the kid just doesn't understand it the first
sure,
time. So what I
sure,
try and do is find an alternative way to teach them how to do it, just to help them understand the concept and then develop their
good.
conceptual knowledge. And then once they get that, they should be able to go back and understand what the teacher would like them to do.
And I'm thinking, just like I did when I teach, and even now when I visit some of my schools and the schools that I used to work at in sub, that's probably a good feeling when you're sitting there with a young man or a young lady, and all of a sudden you just see that light bulb go on, that they grasp what it is that you're trying to tell them.
Yes, yeah, it makes me very happy when I see them get it, and I just love to help them. They are both great kids, and I love to help them just understand that math better because I know
Awesome.
that this gives them a foundation to be able to build on later. So,
Good. Now, I will say, when I was a young Cocoa High School Tiger back in the day, I was in Spanish club. So, what would the difference be between Spanish club and the Honor Society Spanish?
okay, so Spanish at West Shore, we have what's called Spanish Club, but our Spanish Club is limited to kids in Spanish 1 and 2, those
Okay.
lower levels of Spanish. To be in our Spanish Honor Society, you've had to have finished Spanish 3 and be fill out an application, turn it into our Spanish teacher, Senora Stewart, and
Mhm.
she reviews it, and then she'll say if you're accepted or not. And the Spanish Honor Society does similar things to the National Honor Society. We help in the community. We help to fix things around the school.
Good.
We also we just want to help the community out.
Good.
So
Very good. Excellent. So we got soccer going, we got swimming going, we got chamber orchestra, we got tutoring, a couple clubs. How's that GPA working out in that all that time going on?
The GPA is hanging on good. It's a 4.0 right now, which is that's good for that's good for junior year. So we're just rolling with it still. I have one more quarter left, and then the school year's done, and it's on the senior year. So
So I got to figure, when you get that report card, I'm not sure if things have changed. When my kids were in school, we still get a Happy Meal at McDonald's for straight A's. Is that still?
yes, my thing is actually my parents usually take me to Carrabba's because
Oh,
Carrabba's is one of my favorites. So I get to go there and get my favorite meal, which is spaghetti and meatballs. So
good.
I'm very happy.
So parents have stepped up a little bit then, since when my kids, it sounds like.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. I like a good McDonald's though
Hey,
too.
there's nothing wrong with a Big Mac from time to time, but I like Carrabba's too. Um,
Yeah.
so we're getting ready to end our junior year, senior year coming up. Always exciting. Senior pictures over the summer, get fitted, cap and gown, etc. Started to look. I'm thinking as far as post high school and what you might want to do and where you want to go. Has that process started?
Yes, that process has definitely started. I have taken the SAT and things like that to
Good.
start getting ready. I've started preparing my transcript, making sure I'm taking classes that give me a competitive
Right.
resume going into college. And then
Right.
also just trying to buffer my overall resume to give things that make me stand out to a
Good.
college when I'm applying. Um,
Good.
and I'm planning to tour a couple over the summer, including the University of Florida, which is one of my personal favorites. I know
Good.
I see
Good.
your sign back there.
No
Um,
favoritism. It just happens to be hanging there. That's all. I don't know.
so yeah, I'm just
Good.
starting this process slowly but surely.
And I think you said something very important that I believe in, and I believed in when my two kids went to school, and when I work with students at the middle school level. Um, Universities look at that total picture. They look at Lance Stern and the GPA, and okay, involved in sports. Wait, also he's in a club, and he also tutors, and he also does music, and he still has a four. I think I would be remiss if I didn't, you know, put that point up there for young men and women watching this, that it's the whole individual that they look at, and you're a perfect example of what schools look for, and thinking ahead of making sure you've kind of got that resume completed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our guidance counselors at West Shore, that's one of the big things they stress to us when they come and speak to us in class. They tell us it's not just the academics that these schools are
Right.
looking. These schools, they look at your academics because they want to make sure you're going to come do good at their school.
Right.
But they also want well-rounded individuals that will contribute to the school community as well as the community around the college. So
Perfect. Excellent. And if you had to give some advice, and again, I think when we talked the other day, when I went to Cocoa High, I felt like I did pretty good and, good grades and play little sports. People like yourself just blow me away how you can do all of that and be successful in all that. So you've got some incoming seventh graders next year coming to West Shore, and Lance Stern is a senior up there at the front next to Mr. Fleming, and they ask you what's the secret of doing all these things and being successful. What kind of advice do you give those young individuals that are going to kind of follow in those same footsteps that you are and be successful doing so many things, that it is okay to participate in that many activities and be successful?
So when they would get there, I would tell them straight from the start, even though they might not see it as much in seventh grade, that time management is going to be crucial. You have to, ahead of time, lay out if you're in a sport or a club or an activity such as orchestra or theater, you got to make sure you have your schedule planned out for that week. So that way, you know when you have to get that homework done.
Right.
And you're not waiting till the night before or morning of to cram that assignment, because you want to submit quality work, because that's
Right.
what West Shore teachers look for.
Right.
So they want the quality work. So you need to take your time on that.
So do
I would
you use a planner as far as scoping out your week, etc.?
Yes, I do. They get at the beginning of the year, West Shore, the sense of the whole time management, they actually at our registration sell planners. The PTA sells planners. So I just buy that one and I use it to write down whatever I'm doing that night. I put all my practices in there. Currently, I've been putting my physical therapy times and doctor visits in there, so I know what I have to plan around for that week.
Good.
So it's just a big picture for the week. You have to make sure you have it planned out.
Right. Awesome. Well, listen, young fella, I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me on this beautiful Friday afternoon. I'm just, again, blown away by individuals like yourself that, like you just said, with time management, you have the opportunity to do so many things and still be successful. And I think, and going to a high school that's, I think, still ranked in the top 100 in the country, having time to have a field day today. So, that's the one good thing I love about Mr. Fleming. We've got those activities working there where you can kind of blow off some steam every now and then.
Yes.
And I just appreciate you sharing your story. Best of luck to you. I'm glad the brace is off. Good luck with the next 6 months of PT. And I look forward to hearing great things in the fall as far as soccer and swimming and everything else that you do.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciated it, and I will keep in touch and let you know how I'm doing.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lance. Have a great weekend, and I enjoyed your time.
Thank you. You as well. Bye.
All right, take care. So that was Lance Stern. Again, another example of great people doing great things, soccer and swimming and orchestra and clubs and tutoring and a 4.0 in the classroom. It's just another example of the great individuals that we have here throughout all of our 16 high schools with 70-some thousand students here. So I certainly do appreciate Lance's time. Again, this is streaming live on my Twitter account at PressboxOT, or just look for Pressbox Overtime. Also, my brand new YouTube channel. It's also live on there right now and will be there on, Pressbox Overtime on YouTube. And then once I log off, I will swing this over additionally to my Facebook group, Pressbox Overtime. But again, I appreciate Lance Stern. And don't forget, Monday, 6:45, Doug Cook and I are going to be streaming live from Rockledge High School as Westerville Central High School from Ohio comes down and plays our Raiders in a varsity baseball game. So thanks to Lance. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend. Again, another episode of Great People Doing Great Things. And remember, sports, it's more than just a game. We'll see you again on Pressbox Overtime.